So, good evening, everyone. Once again, welcome back to the continuation of the next module. That is module two, and it's a third video continuing the part of an anchoring. Now, as we were discussing about anchoring, we have seen a lot of factors. The most important, factors we have seen is like you have a commanding presence, and you should have your attire in a very decent manner. Then we have seen a lot of, the body postures, and then we have seen the eye contact level. We have also seen that how does it matters that when we focus about anchoring using the microphones or using the mic. So there is a difference when we actually think that microphone is just normal, like a mic. So we are actually going wrong here, because it needs a practice, because we're not used to with the using microphone. So you need to be very alert and conscious enough to use a microphone, which has to be practiced 2 to 3 days before, as soon as you get into this, indulging yourself as a great anchor. So when we start anchoring, okay, so there are a lot of concepts we need to focus on. Most of us, we have a habit of using certain words in between, which is oh, ah, this kind of, this sound intonations. You need to stop doing it when we are anchoring, because it brings a kind of a loopholes. It's not a great quality of an anchor, because when we anchor, the content which we are going to speak on this stage, it should be crisp, it should be crisp, clean, and precise. You need to be very much aware about your, the content presentation. So what are you going to do, present in front of the people? It should follow these parameters. Because why I'm telling you, when you take a general training session, you are not you are not just getting into the anchoring script, but you have another connectivity levels as well. But when we are leading the show, when we are hosting the show, the entire concept gets changed. So there, if we are using the normal conversation protocol, and then we have a sounds of o, and r, so it actually brings the level of a great anchor down. So you need to stop doing it if you are having a habit of doing this o, r, and r. So you need to practice more and more content precise manner, so that you should avoid doing this kind of things. Now, when next we focus on that, knock off your habits. We have a multiple habits of, while anchoring, we actually do hand the hairs movement, and then we touch the nose. And when we when we see the things around, how the functions are going on, so we actually even don't do it intentionally, but it happens. The intention is not there, but due to the unconsciousness, and what you can say, you are not in that you are not in that balancing mode, that how do you manage yourself while controlling this common habit. So I would highly recommend that you should, if you are having this kind of habits of chewing nails, or doing your hairs like this. And because when you are doing anchoring, you need to be very stiff, little stiffer side, because you are actually presenting something in a precise manner, where the people want to hear you more. So what are the next, the performances, the next outcomes and all. So you are actually the complete limelight of when you are anchoring the event. So you need to be focusing on your habit, and you need to just knock it off. Now, when we talk about introducing ourselves, so it's highly important that you as an anchor, you should not more focus about talking to yourself. It's not about talking about ourselves more, but you need to present the content more. So your focus here changes from yourself to to the content more. So being an anchor, the event flow is more important rather than your introduction level. So you need to keep this point very clear. Then take a break. It is very important to have a kind of a seconds break, which is very important. When we take a break, we have a sip of tea, or anything we can have it, or you can say just a munch of water. So it actually helps our the voice to get that relaxation mode, and then you can continue the entire event again. So break is very important. Now, when we go on stage and when we have anchoring, situations arising on us, and there's certain things which happens when we think that that it shouldn't be in this manner. It just jumped in our mind. So just control your fear. Okay, at that point of time, you don't have to be so nervous, because even the big dignitaries, the big trainers, they are fond of more and more mistakes. So it's okay, we are learning, and through this learning we make sure that it should not be repeated. But always avoid, when you present yourself on the stage, you need not show your internal fear to the audiences. So keep that control, keep that pace balanced over there, because when your fear is visible in front of the audience, so then your show is going to be a kind of a flop show. So when you have to lead the crowd, so at that time you need to conquer your fear. Then build the rapport, as we said, that building a great, a good rapport, and building a good connection around the people, it helps a lot. It helps a lot, because you feel very positive. Even on the stage you are presenting in front of the audience, you get a very good vibes. You feel that the people are not judging you anymore, they are here to listen you happily. And be in control when we talk about certain things, and you feel over excited about it. So just control your excitement on the stage, because it should not go beyond certain limitations. So when we talk about certain content, so you should be very much paced or focused there, that it should go in a controlled manner. It should not go something which is not related to your anchoring part. Know your script well. You should know your script well, because if I don't know what is going to come next, I would never, my nervousness and everything will be arises when I talk. Because when I know the flow of the event properly, when it is in the mind, I don't even have to see myself in the the handouts and everything, not the presentation and everything. When I have the things in my hand, and it's the hand is not important, it should be here in your mind. So your script should be feeded in your mind. So you need to have a lot of practice for that, so that this the entire event itinerary, you should be ready with it. And what are the your own creative things you are adding in that. Sometimes we have our own ideas flowing. So be natural, and don't stop your ideas. You can put your ideas when you are anchoring the event. It adds on to as a good quality of a great anchor. Then, now I will be discussing some of the NLP techniques with you all. When we talk about NLP, you should know what is NLP is all about. It's a neuro-linguistic programming. It's a highly recommended and running courses in today's scenario. But I won't be going in a brief of NLP techniques, but I want to give you, I want to bring this to your notice, that when we talk about, when people they take such a big amount to discuss about the NLP techniques, so they start with the neuro linguistic programming techniques, and they take 50 to 60,000 per session. But when I attended those techniques, and then I came to know, they come to the conclusions. So actually talk about certain things which is very much related when we go to public speaking, anchoring, or stage courage. So when we talk about let's say public speaking, so we are actually focusing on the NLP technique. So you are getting prepared yourself, or as an NLP user as well. So what is that in NLP? It's mirroring they have mentioned in NLP technique. Now when I talk about mirroring, you stand yourself, you practice the speech, and you self you are self presenting yourself. You will come to know where you have to keep the pace and pause. But you need to be very very much perfectly fine enough to see that mirroring technique is going to work it out for you or not. Because for some people it doesn't work well, when because they have not habituated to see themselves in the mirror. So as soon as when they see themselves in the mirror, so they feel a kind of distraction. So we need to have that kind of the positivity in us, that when we are facing ourselves in the mirror, we should not focus on our facial structure, and you should not feel distracted. At that point of time, we should see that how our voice modulation is working on, and are you able to deliver your content things in a proper manner or not. So don't get distracted when you have a mirroring strategies around you. Then NLP also has an anchoring. So we are blessed that we are learning about the anchoring skills, and it's one of the renowned NLP techniques as well. Yes, yes, yes. Keeping again telling in front of the audience, and giving them the assurance of, yes, this is what we are expecting. Yes, this is what we want. Yes, this is how you should go. Yes, you got it right. So these things are so impactful. It is so energetic, and the entire surrounding around you is so positive. So always I would recommend you all to go with this kind of techniques around you, and it's really helpful, and it's just wonderful. You should do it. Then laughter is the best medicine. Sometimes being a great anchor, we have a lot of rules and regulations around us. So we actually have those small laughter movements are getting missed by us. So when you have a certain few seconds, so at that point of time, you should have a kind of the natural laughters. So what happens is, it automatically turns out a good surroundings around you, and the obviously your vibes are going to be very positive. But you will see the audiences, when you are having that laughter things, automatically your tension, your nervousness is around now, and you're set with the audience, and you're so comfortable that you don't feel leaving the stage again and again, and you're all nervousness, or all your fears, and your all body language gets perfect, and fears are removed. So keep that laughter movements on, but it should not go over of the things. Just have a controlled laughter movements, and just enjoy those moments, because it is really important, and it's a great sign, one of the great signs of an anchor. Then the most the important things which I will be sharing to you all now is improving our 60 seconds. Now when I talk about 60 seconds, we have 1 minute of our anchor. Let's say when you start anchoring, and the first 1 minute, that is 60 seconds, it is so important. It is so important. It may change your entire scenario of 3 to 4 hours of anchoring events. So it is in your hands that how do you change this 60 seconds. Now this I've divided into tens, 20s, and then further we'll see what is that. First let's have a look how you go to tens. Now in tense, you will introduce a short introduction about yourself, that starting with your name in a very creative manner. Just go with a kind of short introduction, because they should know at least your name. I will not recommend you all to give entire full-fledged introduction, because you are here to lead the event, not you. So but you should have a kind of a good jump start kind of your introduction, so that they should feel more connected. As soon as they know your name, they may like it. Some people will think, oh, nice name and all. So they should know something about you, because the anchors should they are going to be there for a longer period of time. The performance is hardly going to be there for hardly few minutes, but the anchor is going to stay for a longer period of time on the stage. So your 10 seconds should be a kind of your short introduction. Now your 20 seconds, how you're going to manage 20 seconds over here is you're going to highlight how to solve the people's problem and win their satisfaction. Here I mentioned certain considering the scenarios. Now here there are multiple scenarios. I've taken it as a company, but it may be some other streams as well. Now how you stand among the competition is something, it's highly important. So your next 20 second will be your success stories. So you will talk about not related to your story. If you don't have your story, talk about the event story. Talk about what you are, why you are here for a longer period of time, and what are you going to put in front of the audience. So success stories, when we talk, and it value your propositions. So those 20 seconds you can go ahead with your success stories. Now the 25 seconds is a very is this point of time you need to be very specific. You need to be very specific. You will be talking about that, what is the goal of this event. On I have mentioned here as an example of a company, but you will be talking, if you're leading one event, so you will be talking about the short goals, that what are the goals of this entire event. And then 5 seconds is quote your memory hook. So quote your memory hook, it means what? You should use the quotes in your talk. Okay, so people will love to hear you, and they, when they remember those quotes, and they will see, they will automatically get a feeling of a positivity, and they feel very good and confident enough to sit for a longer period of time. So start with a kind of a quote, and then your 1 second is over, your 1 minute is over. In this 60 second, we have to follow this. At least we should do our introduction, which is mandatory. You should go ahead of it. 20 seconds in success story, if you're not having, just talk more about the company or about the event, and then you can go for a goals, and then you can use as a quote. So this improving our 60 seconds is highly important, so important. You need to have this 60-second strategies in you. Now, effective 10 minutes presentation. Now, effective 10 minutes, your first 10 minutes is again very important, because you will be describing about the event flow. So what you are going to tell to the audience that we should expect from you, how the show is going to be. You are actually preparing the audience for the upcoming flow of the event. So your 10 seconds, your 10 minutes, you can utilize it for that. Now here, when we talk about the 10 second, your first and the foremost important thing is your PowerPoint. Okay, if you are referring as a PowerPoint presentation, so you should refer it. But in case if you think that you don't require any PowerPoint presentation, so let it be, don't use it. It's not mandatory to go with the help of a PowerPoint as an anchor. So rehearse your speech part and your presentation. There is one format I have shared. I will be sharing with you in the handouts. Here it's not visible. but I will be sharing with you in the handout. So your format should be ready, that how you are going to prepare those 10 minutes of the speech. Now, using PowerPoint, we are having a very, very, you can say, a habit of using a PowerPoint again and again, considering the scenario, even if it is required or not. See, as a trainer, as a speaker, as a good communicator, you should, take a PowerPoint help. It is important, but you should not be completely dependent on it, because what happens with us is, when we talk about the PowerPoint presentation, we feel very relaxed that okay, everything is there in the PowerPoint presentation, so we don't need to prepare anything. So what we do, what I do, that I prepare the presentations later, and I keep my points ready first. So here, my presentation is just a reference that how I will be going with the flow of the PowerPoint presentation. As an anchor, it's very important that if you will not use this PowerPoint presentation in an effective manner, it's going to be turned wrongly for you. It's going to be evil for you, as it is said in the first line itself. So using PowerPoint is not mandatory if you are anchoring the show and you're confident enough that just a piece of handout is going to work it out for you. So don't use it. And if you're using it, use it just as a but don't get completely dependent on the PowerPoint presentation. So here we have discussed about many things when it comes to anchoring rules and regulations. I hope you liked it, and you have enjoyed my the entire anchoring skills session, and I hope you have learned a lot, and you will be following those rules and regulations which we have discussed. As an anchor, what are the things which is important, and what things you should keep in mind to get that perfect anchoring skills. So in our next module, we will be definitely focusing on the stage correct. Till now, thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you so much. Bye bye.